Welcome to No Ideas Original, the bonus episode with Shannon and the good brother, Mr. Rob. What's up, bro? How you doing?
What's going on, kid? How you been, man?
Man, you already know. Trying
Crazy
to get
world,
back, right? Trying to get back to normal, but it seems like we got a new normal. So,
yeah, man. Things are changing, man. The way you go to the store, the way you everything, son. Everything you go outside, be prepared for change, man. And don't get yourself over in a bind about it.
Yeah. So how your week been?
It's been easy, man. Dallas has been good. I've been great. Wifey's been working. She's been getting a lot of orders since people are home and not wanting to cook. So
Nice.
That's been good. My youngest daughter graduated. Shout out to Kiana. Nice. We had a beautiful party for her, sending her off to to the world to see what she has to offer. And it's been all right, man. Like I said earlier, my garden is starting to come through a little bit, so I'm paying attention to that a lot more too. So yeah, my green thumb is coming out, brother.
Congratulations to Kiana.
And to your son as well, man.
Yeah. I saw her at the drive-through graduation.
Yeah, so it was a nice weekend. It was a real nice showing. It was a small hiccup, but that's another story.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I have to say, I thought it was a nice gesture on the high school's part, but they pulled a real sucker move to me. I ain't even tell you about this one. So my son, decorated his cap and put Black Lives Matter on it, and he had
they
Black
got
Lives
on that
Matter
Taco Bell shit.
T-shirt. Yeah, and then they sent out all the pictures and everything. So I'm looking through the pictures. I'm like, yo, let me look through these pictures. So I want to see how the picture came out.
Right.
This picture wasn't there. I was like, yo, it must be me. So I gave it to my wife, and I was like, yo, just thumb through all these pictures, see if you see it. Wasn't there. Wasn't there. So all the other pictures, they got pictures in there that's suggestive about sexually suggestive photos, or all kind of other stuff, but Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, don't start that rhetoric. We don't want that type of energy in our school when you already got it going on in your fucking school.
Yeah, I thought that was real weak.
No, the Hatters don't get no shout out for that. The school is washed. Been up there 1,000 times, man. Just going to the games and the atmosphere you get. Yeah, they support the kids. Danbury is very supportive of their students. Their student athletes. Because a lot of kids come out of that school and can do great things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you can tell the administrative staff is a little stuffy.
Yeah.
They don't want to handle real issues. They don't want to do any of that. They like I've seen things up there just get washed over. Like, just don't worry about it. Let's go on to the next day. So I'm not surprised by that move, but
they made a mistake though. They sent me an email just now saying that if they're having an open forum to discuss distance learning, and anybody could log in to talk about distance learning. So next week I'm gonna log in, but I'm not gonna talk about distance learning. I'm gonna talk about something else that I've noticed with the school.
Distance learning. Distance learning. You're pushing further away from wanting to recognize what the problem is. You're pushing it away. So that's distance learning, son.
Yeah. I do want to say though, like on another note, I want to give a shout out to Zane because Zane. Yeah, Zane is like, for those that don't know, Zane is the dude that works behind the scenes. He's my cousin. He's been lining up interview after interview.
He is our on location man. So he got the mic. He might be in Alaska right now, trying to get some Eskimos on here or something, man.
Yeah.
It's a great guy though. I love him, man. I fell in love with him. I'm like, this guy's dope, son. I like him, son.
Yeah, but because of Zane though, you know what? We were able to get the Ron G interview. Tomorrow we got coming up for people. We got Willie Esco. We had Blondie Baruti, who's the founder of B-Perk, the social media app. He got us Stephon Grant from No Airbnb. We got Garfield from the group Shy coming up. We got Shaheem, no longer Shaheem the Rugged Shy. He's a grown man now, but Shaheem, formerly of Wu-Tang fame. We got a gentleman that's done some really good work with Tesla coming up. So we just got a lot of
Damon Bender, the artist.
I mean, that's right, yeah. Damon, aka Monty, who's doing a lot of great work out of DC. We got him coming up also. So, you guys got to make sure you stay tuned and No Ideas Original, because some of these interviews that we bring into people are not interviews that you would see on typical channels or typical podcasts.
Yeah, man. And shout outs to Zane, man, for putting that work in and getting us those people we can chat with, man, just a little bit.
Yeah. So this feel like it's been a long time since it's just been you and I, right?
Just chopping it up, right? What the fuck is going on, son?
But you know what? We had to bring them one for Juneteenth. So for this particular episode, there's a couple of things that we decided that we wanted to talk about.
I'm glad you mentioned Juneteenth, man. Shout out to our people today. You know what I mean? I know some specific birthdays out there too. Big sister Dwelling. Nice. Today's her birthday. And two people that I know personally, Chas and Denise. It's funny that their names are both Denise and they're born on the same day, which is crazy. Their birthdays are today too, man. And today, man, we can unpack that after we get through the show, because I don't see that on our list. But Juneteenth is very significant, especially being that what we're doing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a fact.
It ties into that too. So.
Yeah. So for a lot of people that don't realize, Juneteenth was, technically, I guess it's considered the emancipation of the last remaining slaves that were in Galveston, Texas. And it was long after, more than a year after Abraham Lincoln actually signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So, some people say, well, word didn't travel as fast back then. But I also say, why would you be quick to give up free labor? With slave owners knowing, they weren't readily going to go to the slaves and tell the slaves, like, guess what? Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, you're free, because if they did that, then they lose their free labor.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And what I learned is in certain areas like in D.C., man, where the Underground Railroad got its wings, a lot of people was going through Virginia, through D.C., Maryland, and all that, just to reach New Jersey or New York. So they can get better jobs and better, just a better way of living than to be in the chattel slavery in the South, man. So Juneteenth, man, this is a great day. We got it. If we got a day, this is a day to celebrate yourself. Do something great. Do something with your family. Go somewhere. I don't know. Make it. Don't make it like a barbecue. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do something significant. You know what I'm saying?
Everything a barbecue, right?
Yeah. Don't put a meal behind that. If you're gonna feed yourself mentally with today. So.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little bit about the viral video, the skateboard assault. We're gonna talk about the blue flu in Atlanta, Georgia. Touch on a little bit about the On the Record documentary. And I want to talk a little bit about cancel culture also, and just speak a little bit about that.
What that's all about.
Yeah.
And how that's affecting a lot of people, man.
Yeah. And then Dave Chapelle put out the new special, Celebrity Voices in Tragedy, and then performance activism. And then at the end, to top it off, maybe we could touch on a little bit about now. Aunt Jemima, all of a sudden, people figured out that was racist. So did you get an opportunity to see that skateboard video, man? The video with the skateboarder?
Yeah, and I just got a few words for that. He need his ass whooped. Period, son. Period. Yo, niggas is in their feelings when a chick, and I get it, that's male ego. The chick turn you down or say something, fly out their mouth. You want to, get out of here with you. But come on, son, you could have mushed her. Like, a skateboard, my dude? That shit hurts you, son. Yeah. For me and for him, they gonna find his ass.
Yeah, I think be prepared for that.
Be prepared for that video to come on.
Yeah, I don't know if he privatized his page. I know after I saw the video, I went to his page and I was looking. Immediately, he did the first thing that anytime somebody's involved in scandal, what they do, but they want to remain in the public eye. Nah, he kept his page on, but he cut his comments off. So he wants you to see his pictures and to continue to view whatever it is that he got going on. But he made it a point to cut off the comments because he don't want to hear what you have to say about the nonsense that he did. And to me, like, yo, I look at stuff like that and I'm like, damn, like, yo, that could be anybody's sister, mom, auntie, niece, whatever it is. It's like, yo, what could she possibly have said to him that would make him get to the level to hit her in the face with a skateboard?
You see, that's a sucker move because, he had to have felt in his heart that, I don't give a fuck. But then what you say that for every woman you come across, then, son. If they don't say the right thing to appease you or make you feel, you know, you gonna hook off with a skateboard? Yeah, he need to square up. That's somebody like come on, son, shoot the 1D, B.
Yeah.
You a man. Let's just square out, son.
This is somebody though that clearly he must have a following. I don't know if it's in the skateboard world or whatever it is, because he has a decent amount of followers, I know, on Instagram. And his name was like readily available. Like they tracked him down real quick. So this wasn't a random. This is somebody who maybe they're in the skateboard world doing stuff like this. And then what was even more cowardly is you seeing like his boys laughing afterwards.
Well, you know, it's always cackling out in the peanut gallery. That's always that, and that's how we got the video. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Was that now? Can you set the narrative that they went to do that? They knew that Shorty had a foul mouth. Watch what we gonna do. Watch Shorty say some fly shit. I'ma hit her in the mouth with the fucking niggas is out there doing dumb shit like that. For what?
Yeah. I think somebody said that he went live though and was supposed to give an explanation. But what could you possibly get on live and say that's going to justify hitting the woman in the face with a skateboard?
Now, here it is. Everyone's on social media. Someone who gets to see their cousin. Not that you can actually see it because it was kind of dark, but then you find out that's your cousin, son.
Mm-hmm.
Your little shit, whatever. Now you gonna start a war. Yeah. Somebody gonna look for homeboy if that's someone's sister. Keeping the G.
There'll be another video out soon.
Yeah, son.
The blue flu in Atlanta. So the officer that killed Rashard Brooks and his partner were charged. The officer that actually did the shooting was charged with felony murder, and the other with aggravated assault. As a result, in Atlanta, police officers called out. The mayor, Keisha Lance Bottom, says that morale is low in Atlanta as a result of everything that's going on.
Well, do the knowledge, man. Three out of the 6 zones. Now, I even know that's how police officers move. They move the zone. 3 out of the 6 zones, they're not even touching. And 1 out of those 3 zones house about 500,000 people plus an airport. And they like, I'm not going. And that's I guess that's the police protest.
Yeah.
That's how they feel about that.
But you know what, to me, the issue is, though, with police, like there's so much that could be resolved if police were transparent. And you always hear people talk about the blue, there's the blue wall of silence.
Blue flu. So you front like you sick.
Yeah, so the blue wall of silence definitely exists because so many police turn a blind eye to all the ills and all the wrongdoings that goes on in the world, and they do all this cover-up stuff. I think I said on a previous episode, one of the dudes who I have the biggest issues with in New York City is the PBA, the head of the PBA, Pat Lynch, because at no point do they ever just come out and denounce whatever the issue is with the officer. And then I'm thinking in my mind, like, all this stuff that's going on, the current climate of the country, and we missed with Mr. Floyd and everything, and as a police officer, you don't know that this is a sensitive time. What would make you
the climate? You should know. Come out here with kick gloves, son. Be delicate in a situation. Do your job. But see, this is my humble opinion. Humans are creatures of habit and pattern. So you're used to behaving this way, where you can't differentiate whether I should be cool or calm. You so used to just flipping on the instinct that that's how you're living. Yeah. So now you that's how you're living. You should not be a person living on instinct with a pistol on your side.
But where's the commanding officer though? Where's the commanding officer that before they actually go out on patrol, sit them down and be like, what the climate of what's going on in the country is right now. We need you to do policing that actually involves you talking to people. We want to de-escalate and decrease the amount of physical interventions that we have to do with the public. So why the hell are these people still out there doing this stuff? It's like, almost like a battle of will. Like, I'm gonna impose my power on this gentleman or this individual. Right.
And for them, this blue flu. I never even heard of the term, man. The blue flu. It's me calling out, but I can still get paid. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't got to go out there because I don't feel like going out there. I don't want to deal with that neighborhood that's dealing with the so-called backlash or the backlash of what's going on out there. I ain't gotta fuck with them. They got the power to do that.
I don't know in Atlanta how it goes, but I know in New York City they have the Taylor Law, and the Taylor Law prevents civil service employees from striking. So whenever civil service employees,
especially in a time when you got national craziness like this, you shouldn't be able to use that power right now. So you just want to chill out. And but one officer, I think I heard one officer say, what did he say? Let's not police that neighborhood and see what the citizens say. Like, yeah, let's just how you like that? And I said, but my counter to that is, I see if you notice what's happening in Minnesota. What's happening in Minnesota? There's a small town in northern Minnesota where community leaders are NRA holders, maybe former military, which militia or whatever the case may be, but they're holding their town down because they're watching professionals come into their town and set fires. You know what I'm saying? And starting all of the rioting and the bull crap. And they're actually having gun war. If you listen to the video, I don't know if I sent it to you, I'll send it to you. But you listen to the video, they're trading shots with someone wanting to come into their neighborhood and set the town ablaze. Yeah. And the funny thing about it, in the video, the cops in that town almost like playing referee. They don't want to get in between. Word is gone. So they don't want to get in between it. They understand why the black people are walking around patrolling their neighborhoods. I see them carrying barricades to cut off certain blocks, and they got walkie-talkies, and they're in a whole different mindset. But they're like, look, we got the right to bear arms. We're using our Second Amendment right for all tyrants. We're you know what I'm saying? We're using that. And we're protecting our family. We're protecting our children on the front line. I mean, they got blocks. People on night shift, day shift, with the walkie-talkie. They got people in the early days talking to people in the community stores. And say, look, we're protecting this area because this is what's happening. And we don't want your store burnt down. You know what I'm saying? And that's how you hold. If you don't want to police my neighborhood, I police my.
Yeah, those civil service employees though, like they use the sick out as power. That's a way to control the situation that's going on. But it's dangerous, it's dangerous, and again, it just reinforces to the public the reason why the public shouldn't trust them.
You can set anarchy, man.
And that's honestly my fear. Like, so if you as a police, you remove yourself from the equation and say that, you know what, you police yourself or I'm not coming in, then you put people in a position where they do feel compelled to have to take care of themselves and take matters into their own hands. And I agree with bearing arms though, even though at this minute, I don't carry, but I agree with it, son. And I know at some point in the future, you won't know when, but I will have me some solid, son. It's necessary. Yeah. So I'm hoping though that again, like the whole purpose of this movement and everything that's going on is that people are somehow, I feel like that the police have personalized this whole movement, and I think they're losing sight of what it's actually about. And there are officers I know that do step up though, but there are officers that I know that have stepped up, that I know personally, and that they've stepped up and they've actually denounced some of the things that go on in the force, and they're vocal and they're on the front line. They interact with the public and they know how to handle themselves, and they're about the community and everything. But for the most part, I would say that's probably maybe you might 5-10% of people that's in policing actually take that approach. All the other people's approach to it is pretty much, these are my brothers, and because this is a brotherhood, if my brother do something wrong,
and I get you got to be on the same accord when you're out in the world dealing with worldly issues. There are crazy people out here. I always say it, teachers and police officers have the toughest job because they're responsible for maintaining the morale of people and making sure you're making good, sound judgment when you leave out the house, when you're outside, when you're in public, that you're just behaving yourself. You know what I'm saying? That's it. You know what I mean? And that's a tough job.
The partner of the officer, he was in fact charged with, I think, violating oath of police officers. So I guess they're recognizing that, that you know, to me, I look at it, I'm like, you're an accomplice. If you stand
Has
by,
anybody
and you're
seen that
complicit,
oath? That's more like one of the most secretive documents. What does that oath say?
who knows, yo? Who
Right.
knows? But I'm telling you, like, I definitely think that there's more awareness now being put in place where people are starting to realize that, you know what, it's not only about the person who actually got physical with the individual. If you were there and you didn't do anything to intervene, that makes you just as guilty. Now, with that being said, there is the sister that's up in Buffalo now that I think she's going through it, that ended up losing her job because she reported improper conduct from a police officer. And I see they're doing, I think, a GoFundMe for her now, and it's over
Right.
$100,000. I'm correct me if I may pronounce her name wrong, but I think her name is Chapelle. But she's somebody who actually has stepped up as a police officer and reported her colleagues. And I think as a result of it, they said that she was sued for like $300,000 or something like that. The woman is
well,
in treatment. She got all kind of stuff going on.
You remember the case of what's that dude in Cali, the LA dude? Chris Broner?
Yeah.
Who went the manifesto?
Yeah.
This dude had a manifesto that implied Dave Chapelle in it, but on a good end. But in his manifesto, he was bashing the LAPD because he firsthand witnessed all of, you know what I'm saying, all of the atrocities they were doing, the things they would say about black people, the reason why they did, people getting beat up, not reporting it, all sorts of shit he was in there. And he went on a straight 007 Bond. This thing was out there like Jason Bourne and went haywire, my nigga.
Yeah.
So there's you know, in every institution, I told my wife this the other day, every institution we ever been a part of lied to us. They all full of shit. Every last one. One of them can't even stand up on their own square and say, you know what, I am this. No, you're not. You show and prove to us all the time you're not what you say you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that dude went, they crucified his ass. It took like 400 officers to kill him.
Yeah. Did you see in New York City, though, I think de Blasio, I don't know if de Blasio was responsible for or if Cuomo, but now they're actually, and in the interest of transparency, that they're going to show the like the civil complaints and violations and things like that the officers have in their record to make it available for public. So that tells me that they do recognize that part of attempting to move in the right direction is you do need transparency. You can't cover everything up now. But here's the thing though about the transparency though. Now, to me it's the same thing as the body cams. So with the transparency, if it gets out to the public and the public, you know, has issues as it relates to it, you can't sweep it under the rug when you get the public outcry as a result of it. If it's for public consumption and the public has the ability to view it, and the public is calling you on why is this gentleman still an officer if he has all these civil violations and he has all these write-ups and all these things, why do you still have him as an officer?
Some of them got a record like a criminal.
Exactly. And here's another thing, like I don't live in New York City, but yo, could you imagine how much as a taxpayer, a New York State, you costing the taxpayers money? Look where the money is going to, where dudes got all kind of lawsuits against them from knocking heads and using excessive force. By the way, the woman that was in the train station with her 5-year-old son, I think she's like 22 years old, they announced that she's suing NYPD for $10 million because she said they restrained her for not having a mask on. Their argument, their argument though is that it wasn't because she didn't have a mask on that she smacked the police officer's hand away from her.
Hey, nigga, you touching me? Why are you touching me, son? I'm walking home aggravated. I gotta get on the train any fucking way. See, and that's sensitivity training. Let me tell you something. If you're walking the beat, this is my humble opinion. I know what it is to be a police officer, but as they say, it takes longer education to become a cosmetology agent than it is to become a police officer because you got 6 months. You do your basic training and they give you a badge. You're dealing with people. Not everyone's the same. That's why I said it's hard because you're dealing with just in your mind, there's 1 billion people on the planet. If you're an officer, you got about a third that to deal with. Coming in and out of a city like New York, for instance. You're dealing with all sorts of emotions. You got to approach it as you see it. You see if she look like she got attitude, look. So y'all look. You got to have your mask. If you got your mask, you got to go. What's wrong with saying it like, why? Yeah, son, come here.
Seven of them.
Then the wrestler goes, come on. You know you're not gonna win. You're not gonna win that match with them, yo.
Yo, they swarmed on her though. Like I saw that video, I'm like, damn, like yo, you would have thought that they were trying to take down the Incredible Hulk the way they piled on that woman. Well, her kid, her 7-year-old kid, or her 5-year-old kid, right there watching.
So when we talk about trauma, the baby lives with that because now it's never gonna forget that.
Mm-hmm. You watched your mom get beat up by the police in the train station.
So now when you see the police, you might have either fear for them or a hungry hate. Yeah. And that's how you brew that shit up. Because now no one's gonna check that kid for any mental distortion or you know what I mean? You're not gonna check for that.
Well, if a lawyer good enough, right. I would make an argument if I was a lawyer. I would say that you subjected my son to trauma. Speaking of trauma, did you have an opportunity to catch the On the Record documentary?
I watched some of it. I watched, I listened to Russell's interview
on the Breakfast Club.
On the Breakfast Club about it, and it eerily sounded like, honestly, like some Epstein shit, because he said in his early years, which to his point, he's correct. In the early days in the 70s and 80s, like I said, coming off of that hippie stage in the 70s, early 60s, drugs was just something that you did, like drinking coffee. You know what I'm saying? Especially in the nightlife and in them parties and, them disco times, Studio 54. Even my mom's just told me, people were doing a lot of drugs back then. There was a lot of drugs and a lot of sex. You know what I'm saying? So, he's admitting, honestly, on the record, if I've hurt anyone, I sincerely apologize. You know what I'm saying? Because I might have been under influence. We might have both been under the influence. I think of Cosby in that respects as well. When you talk about the drugs and the sex and, you know what I'm saying, all that. Not that I'm condoning any of the bad behavior, but these women were in these environments. Not that they were. They're not saying that they were partaking in any drugs. You know what I mean? So, I watched it. The young lady was a promising A&R, manager. She wanted a life like everyone else, man. You know what I mean? And at a time where hip hop was emerging and she's right alongside with Biggie. And you know what I'm saying? It's tough, man. And I understand it, man, because I know women today who suffer from trauma of maybe uncles or just aggressive men. And the sad thing about it is that, in our culture, that was a part of our culture, being aggressive to women. Yeah. That's learned behavior. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not making no bones about it, but that's learned behavior by men, thinking that women like it rough or they like tough guys or gangsters and all this stuff. And some of us portray that, and some women adore it. Some men think that women adore it.
Yeah, Russell Simmons, to me though, like I saw the interview and I did watch the documentary. In the interview, by him framing it around, the drug use of the 70s and the early 80s, and everybody was doing it. Everybody was doing drugs and everybody was partying and we was having a good time. I don't, why I don't accept that? Because I think that that's an excuse. That's almost like saying, so everybody that was engaged in drugs, has been sexually inappropriate with with somebody at some point in time.
I understand.
He has a number of allegations against him, and what's scary about it is all the allegations sound similar. It sounds like that he had a pattern of how he operated and conducted himself.
A PR wrote that down. He memorized it. That's why listening to him explain it. I tell you, it sounded uncomfortably like a Jeffrey Epstein story.
Yes,
like, he said, because he started going to saying, listen, I was with Asians, Hindus, Australia. I was all over the planet. I was the pimp. And he said,
something though? Like,
he even said the movie How to Be a Player was about him.
Yeah, but you know what? Like you don't romanticize sexual assault and rape. Like, like to me, he almost tried to he tried to discredit what their claims were by almost making it like, hey, well, you know, everybody was doing it. You're not being called into question about womanizing. You're not, you know, the issue is not, the documentary is not about you being a womanizer. The documentary is about you being a rapist and being sexually inappropriate with a number of women. And I think like some of the things that he says, he falls back on, you know, well, I took all these polygraph examinations and all these things or whatever, and
9 separate 3-hour
and all this stuff or whatever. Like, you know, he, to me, more so than any other person that was accused of this, is working very hard to attempt to clear his name. I don't know if that's because he believes that he's innocent. So if his defense is I was getting high back then, yeah, but if his defense is I was getting high back then, so I don't remember that I did it, kind of thing, like that still doesn't exonerate you from what you did.
No,
because there's 20 women.
I think he sounds like he's admitting.
He's admitting that he was how you call it, that he had sex with these women and that he may have been sexually inappropriate with them. What he's not admitting to is rape. And that's what these women are accusing him of. They're being very clear that, you know,
that means totally against their will. You penetrated, and I did not want you to penetrate me, nigga.
Yeah, and he's he's adamant, like, nah, you know, I don't know what they talking about. I didn't do that. But you know what's even more disgusting about this is that this documentary. Could you imagine that if it would have actually got the light of day on like a bigger channel? Like, it's on HBO Max. HBO Max is a streaming service. For me to watch this documentary, I had to go on my Fire Stick. I had to search around. I had to look and look. Yeah, I had to look and look.
I'm like, yo, son, they done messed TV up, son. I was looking for it. But I said, but I said that there's enough information you can get for the story because it's out there. And, you know, like I said, the story of women being assaulted in this way is another elephant in the room. Some men have a distaste for the savvy, the witty, the power of women and how they carry themselves. Some dudes can't handle that shit, son.
What's sad though is that you know how they victimize the victim, because you had a person like Oprah Winfrey who was involved in this at one point. You had other prominent people involved in it that they then backed out of it.
Weinsteins and Epsteins. This is a culture that.
So they were like, Oprah Winfrey at one point was involved in the documentary as an actual producer and backed out. By her backing out, and she didn't say this, but there's an implication by her backing out. It hinders the credibility of Drew Dixon, because people are gonna be like, you know what? Why would Oprah Winfrey move herself away from this?
They said there were inconsistencies in these three ladies' argument, because there wasn't just the A&R chick.
It's like 20 chicks. It's like Drew Dixon. It's like 20 women. 20 women saying that he did this, and all 20 women are saying the same thing, that they went in his house and they were in one room and then he showed up ass naked with a condom on. Drew Dixon ass naked with a condom on.
Drew Dixon said this graphic phone calls, you know, the old school dirty shit, like I told you earlier. Come sit on my lap.
But that's you know what? That's what he's admitting to. He's
exposing himself erect.
But that's what he's admitting to, saying that, you know what, that almost like, well, you know, back in the days, Def Jam was a frat house kind of thing. And you think about it as
another excuse.
As a society, we've allowed that. Anytime we got a president who, you know, has something come up where somebody says, you know what, or they got him on a hot mic talking about grabbing somebody by the pussy, and then his wife says, oh, that's just locker room talk or whatever. Like, yo, as a woman saying that, it's ridiculous. It's almost like, as a society, we can accept and say that, oh, okay, you know what, maybe he didn't physically penetrate her, but it's okay for him to come out butt naked and make dirty jokes and sexually harass and do all this stuff or whatever.
But here's the question that I have for Miss Drew Dixon, because all of this was happening you know, the graphic phone calls, sitting on the lap in meetings, exposing himself. This is all prior to you ending up in his house.
Mm-hmm.
None of those other situations were red flags. If a chick, I'm gonna be honest with you, if a chick came and flashed me with her tits, every time I see her, I'm not going to her fucking house, my nigga. Give a fuck how big, how pretty they look. I'm not doing it because I'm like, you think I'm some lusty dude who like big tits, and I do, but that's not the rate. That's not. I'm not chasing you for that. It's not the situation here.
She in the documentary, she actually explained that. She said the reason why she went up to his house is because he lured her in with, they were coming from an event.
What do you do?
They were coming from an event, and she was trying to catch a cab, and he said, you know what, you've had all this success for the company and you've done all these wonderful things. Instead of getting a cab, let me get your car service, and I have a demo from somebody that, you know, a CD of an artist that I want you to check out, that I really want you to sign. Now, this is a woman that her career was...
She's thinking business. I know she's thinking business.
The trajectory was on the incline or whatever. So she was, you know, she was excited about the possibility of, oh, this may be new talent for me to discover. Because this woman aspired to do more in the industry. She got up in his house, and
that's when he violated.
Like, yeah, stay here. I'm going in the other room to get the CD or whatever. Now, what's interesting about it is that I think the way the documentary ended, she was saying something like, it just dawned on me. I just had this epiphany that there really was no CD. But I think he roped other women in with similar
same way.
Yeah, like, you know, like when people are serial rapists, it's almost like pedophiles. Like, they know how to groom people. They know they have a carrot that they dangle, and they know how to lure people in to get them to that point. You know, like
he sincerely apologized to the other chick, Jenny Lamette.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said he read her story and it made him cry.
Well, you know what the other thing is though, that I think was very, very interesting about the documentary. I was like, okay, this makes even more sense to me. So she was saying that a lot of people's response to it is like, why would somebody wait so long to come forward when they have all these allegations or they've been subjected to all this stuff?
You know how many women are holding thought? Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. But you know what she look what she said though, that to me, I was like, damn, like, yo, this makes so much sense. She was saying that there's so much condemnation of black men to begin with, and that Russell Simmons had ascended to the pinnacle. Like, yo, Russell Simmons at one point, you know, how you call it, like, look, I grew up in the 80s, and I knew Russell Simmons was the symbol of what hip hop was. Yes. Like, you know, like people would say like Curtis Blow was the godfather, this, that. Russell Simmons was hip hop. People looked at Russell Simmons and was like, this dude embodies hip hop.
This is the image, what it looks like. Yeah.
Exactly. And she was like, you know what, by me divulging this, you know, am I tearing down a black man? Am I tearing down, you know, the imagery of what people view hip hop to be? Right. And I think that she wrestled with that for a really long time. And I think that what got her to the point to finally open up and actually be vulnerable and share her story was like him vehemently denying some of the allegations.
Going like against it, right.
Yeah, like he's insisting like, nah, I didn't do this. Now, I get it. If you're a person who genuinely are innocent, or you believe or you feel that you're innocent, that you're going
you really didn't do nothing wrong. Right.
But on one hand, you telling me you taking 9 polygraphs. On the other hand, I'm looking and you go to Bali where you can't be extradited. You know,
he said he was going back and forth. Should be going back and forth. Go back and forth to LA. I got the beautiful home here in Valley.
Yeah. And then you laying out like all these other things about, yeah, you know, I was on drugs and, you know, it was a locker room culture and all this stuff or whatever. Like, nah, man, don't try to deflect from what it is, bro. Yo, I have to say, listen to all those women's story. I'm like, yo, where there's smoke, there's fire, man.
Although the culture was what it was or is what it is, you don't have to participate in. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you make decisions like this and it comes back to haunt you, is that the question is, what was your participation in a lifestyle like that?
Yeah. Think about the different approaches though to handling this, because when you hear about this documentary, everybody hears Russell Simmons. But Drew Dixon had a similar experience with Andre Harrell.
Really?
No, was it Andre Harrell? No, not Andre Harrell. I'm sorry. It was the what's the other gentleman that got the how you call it? I think L.A. Reid. I believe it's L.A. Reid.
I think it's L.A. Reid. Yeah. I think I've seen that.
Sorry about that, Andre Harrell. Rest in peace.
Remember perfection, good brother.
Yeah. L.A. Reid. That L.A. Reid had a similar thing going on with her. That L.A. Reid, she refused to sleep with L.A. Reid, and as a result of it, she said that L.A. Reid, passed on signing a number of acts. Like that, he just flat out was like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm not gonna sign these people. And that she knew that in fact that she was getting blackballed because she was reluctant to go to bed with this man. You know, so to me that seems like that was the temperature of what was going on.
That's that climate, that's that world. I'm gonna just be a G, man. Listen, man. The war that's against us is the war words. The entertainment world, Hollywood, that's wizardry. It's witchcraft, man. And I hate to put it in that term, but that they know the power of money, they know the power of image, you know what I'm saying? And they glamorize and sensationalize so much that want people to aspire to be in these environments, and they put their lives and they lay their life right on the stake for someone to take advantage of them, not knowing what is coming left or right. All in the efforts of getting a great career or living the lives that you want to live. You can't escape that world in that atmosphere, in that environment.
It's toxic. It's toxic masculinity. Shit. Toxic masculinity. And here's the other thing: for all the women that said no, could you imagine how many women probably said yes and felt compelled, like I have to do this if I want to be in the business, or I want to go further in the business. So no matter how much I think Russell Simmons attempts to explain it away or justify it with what was the times, because I think that's what he's trying to, those were just the times. Like, nah, my nigga. Rape was never in.
Right,
I don't remember when rape was in.
Neither is lynching. And they lynching niggas today too, so.
Yeah, that was never in. So kind of, following on the heels of that, I'm just wondering, like, I'm thinking about this, this whole notion, because you hear a lot in this generation. You hear about the cancel culture, right? Do you think, I guess, from your perspective, this generation, you feel this generation created the cancel culture? And is it easier to actually cancel a person versus a corporation?
No. This generation didn't start that. Because all it takes is for amalgamated amount of people to get together and have the same opinions or nitpick at something that they don't like. At cancel culture, I think it's just nitpicking, honestly, man. As soon as somebody makes a mistake or something goes wrong, you wanna throw them out the window. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. For whatever toxic behavior. It's almost like road rage. You see someone like, these niggas, I hate these niggas. Come on, son. You know what I mean? And it has affected people in some of the worst ways. The person that comes to mind when I think of cancel culture, when you brought this up, was Chrisette Michelle. Just for taking the invitation of the inauguration, when speaking during the inauguration, this it ruined her entire life. She's lost deals. I think it messed up her marriage. She's even had a miscarriage. Dealing with the stress.
Damn.
Of dealing with people just canceling her just because she accepted a moment in which she thought she was bringing people together.
Yeah.
But a career move like that turned into be a career disaster. This nigga is extra, son. No. We're not fucking with you.
She need a better publicist, because remember, Steve Harvey went and met with.
But I understand. I understand why she did what she did. That's a leap. That's a risk. High risk, high reward. It didn't work well in her favor, and that's cancel culture. It shouldn't be a culture. It shouldn't be something that just. And I heard it started on Black Twitter with something that happened, and people jumped on it, and it was like they just read the flag. Nah, let me ain't fucking with him no more. And all of a sudden, no one's fucking with this individual. And that became the way of doing shit. And it's happening. It happens to police officers. Police officers in the cancel culture right now.
Look, I'm going to take you back before social media and tell you the original, my first experience was seeing somebody get canceled. But if they were supposed to be canceled, but I don't think it actually got canceled. There's two I could think of. The first one was a corporation, Timberland. Remember when Timberland, people found out like about the whole stuff with Timberland and racism, and people was like,
with the
"Yo,
tree.
we boycotting
I remember
Timbs
that.
and this, that, or whatever." And Timberland, I don't know how they did it, but after a while, they got their publicists, their public relations together, and they spun it, and they started making the T-shirts, "Give racism the boot," and all this stuff. But I think that was our first attempt in our generation at actually canceling somebody and being like, "Yo, you out of here." And the reason why I say that was the first one, because even if you think about Bill Cosby, you know, Bill Cosby, the comedian that brought it to light, all those stories about Bill Cosby with the with hitting people with roofies and all that stuff, those were stories that have been around for many years that people knew about. But now in this generation grabbed it, and it went full steam ahead. And
they went full steam ahead. They
took the
they
bull by the
wasn't even
horns.
they weren't even putting out Cosby's accomplishments outside of all that either. But you know, the man has so much going on that, you know, if you just put an evil spin on somebody's lifestyle again, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
it's a wrap.
For Chrisette Michele, I think Chrisette Michele, it's fair to say she cold. I don't know if she canceled, but she cold. But you know, the people that I can think of off top, that's definitely
she said for 2 years.
She didn't get a show.
She didn't get no fans. There was a venue in Philadelphia that packed 1,500 normally. She's played there before. After she sung at the inauguration, she said you could hear birds in that motherfucker. There was that many people in that show. It was hard. It was kind of just like, wow, son.
But
just because you sung at this nigga's shit, like.
I'm trying to think though. I'm trying to think. Prior to her singing at the inauguration, how many Chrisette Michele songs were actually spinning on the radio?
She was on radio. She was spinning her first album.
I like Chrisette Michele. I like her songs, but again,
she was a new artist.
What was in rotation for her?
She was in. Oh, what was? Fuck. I remember the song.
Now look,
it's definitely a good song. I remember it, but I just can't think of it right now.
But check it out. When is the last? Now this is official cancellation. What's the last R. Kelly record you heard on the radio? When the last time you heard an R. Kelly record on the radio?
When I play it.
Yo, don't
kill me. Don't kill me. I just got a lot of his joints in my playlist that pop in. It's just one. You know what I mean?
That's canceled. Like R. Kelly don't get no burn. I've driven how you call it, north to south in this country.
He's still getting streams.
Song on the radio.
Niggas are still playing his joints on their playlist, man.
Yo, you know how many parties I used to go to parties where all the time it was guaranteed that somebody's gonna play "Step in the Name of Love." They don't even put that shit on no more. It's a dub for him. He's canceled. That's canceled. Like, yo, Chrisette Michele, she cold right now. If she get one,
they put on the
show. Back in the game. Yeah,
they put on the show for a little bit, son. She put on the show.
But coming back, bro.
It affected her in a way. Just those 2 years put her through some mental health issues, man.
That's a fact.
She really went through it. And if you follow her on her IG, you can see her transformation. She lost a lot of weight. She slimmed down. She even talks differently, very gentle, very soft. She was always soft-spoken, but all her things are about healing. I know that has to be, when you lose a child, that's traumatic for any woman. Based on the energy and the negative press that you're getting, just because you thought you were doing something wrong, that fuck with you.
Yo, I hope she got a nice check for it since she ain't working next to
right, son, they paid you right, son. Oh, who was working, man.
But here's what I'll say about Chrisette Michele. Chrisette Michele to me has a wonderful voice, and I have no doubt that if she comes up with a hit record, that she could get off the shelf.
Yeah, she could get it off.
I do not think that R. Kelly. If R. Kelly ever get out of jail, I don't know if R. Kelly got a record.
There's no way. There's no way you're gonna find him innocent of anything.
He's done. R. Kelly's done. You know who Bill Cosby is done? Yo, we couldn't even cancel OJ. People couldn't even cancel OJ.
Because people just hating on OJ. Our original hate for OJ is when he just started dating white women. He's like, fuck black women. I'm hanging out with these white folks. I ain't fucking with y'all.
I actually think it's easier probably to cancel a corporation than it is to cancel a person. And the reason why is because, you know, like, here's this dude R. Kelly that has this, like, just you said, he was like, it comes up on my playlist. This guy has an amazing body of work, has wrote some beautiful songs, wrote beautiful music for other people, right? So people are like, damn, like, you know, music is all about moods, memories, you know, it makes you nostalgic.
Yes,
and you hear certain songs, you're like, oh man, I remember where I was when this came on and that came on. So it may be a little bit more difficult to cancel him versus, you know what, Starbucks said XYZ. And I don't know if you saw the post that I put up, but yo, I'm done with Starbucks, bro. Like, yo, I was telling you, caramel frappuccino.
Taco Bell too, not being able to wear any BLM paraphernalia.
Yeah.
Like, why is it that why do you feel like it's gonna be a backlash with someone representing a matter of keeping people aware that, yo, my life matters. I matter. Does everyone matter? Apparently you all matter because you're still here. But the rest of us, they're trying to annihilate us.
Yeah.
That's not happening to you, especially by law enforcement. Let's keep it a G.
There are people that they tried to cancel, but they couldn't. Like, I know with Kevin Hart, at one point they tried to cancel him also.
Yeah, too many people love Kev, man.
You know, so I agree with you, you know, with your early sentiment, what you said. Like, I think sometimes we jump out the window and automatically be like, what? This brother's done. Or the other thing is that they'll go back and they'll look at something somebody said or did 10 years ago, unearth whatever it was and be done with them as a result of it. Like, I think if they unearth some dirt that somebody did 10 years ago, then it definitely is worth a conversation. And if that person's views haven't changed or you see the same behavior as a result of what they said or did 10 years ago, then yeah, then they deserve to be on that cancel chopping block. But to me, it's just a different day and age with the era where people are so inclined now to just kind of be like, it's a wrap, you're done.
We're a nation of followers. So if you see something trending, you almost believe it because if that many people believe it, it got to be true. It's easy to get through life for some people that way, to stay trendy, stay on the surface of things. But when you start digging in deeper, you start like, hey, they're even the real story. Or this ain't, you know what I'm saying? You get to find out, you know, other things, man.
That involved actually doing research, which I don't think a lot of people do. Speaking of research, I'm sure you had an opportunity to watch Dave Chappelle's latest stand-up effort.
I did.
What you think of it?
Dave's remarkable guy, man. The spontaneity of just doing something as magnified as that, and bringing awareness. You know, where are we at? And be very, very aware of where we at. Because what you see out your, you know what I'm saying? He says, pretty much saying what you see out your window, that might be here for a little while if we can't get this straight. With these untimely killings, because they're happening so repetitive. And anytime it happens, you're gonna have these Chris Dorner situations, the LAPD situations, where people ain't gonna have they're not gonna feel anything about getting at police and ambushing them and destroying other lives and other families. And then it becomes the blue flu against coronavirus. Everyone's gonna be fighting against what the fuck is going on here. So man, listen, I loved it. I loved every sense of it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And that's where he brought out the truth of every institution that's lied to us, every single one of them, man. And you know, even in my medical, dealing with my situation, I got to do my research about kidneys and all that stuff, because there was one, just as a quicker point, I found out there was one of the medications that I was taking was for blood pressure, and they pushed it on it way before they made it discontinue, but I stopped taking it. That the results showed that, it was high level, that people that took this medication resulted in high levels of dementia, even at early ages.
Wow.
What am I taking this shit for, son? And that's what Nels was like, look, me start cooking some herbs in your food. She started cooking stuff fresh. Took me right off of that one. So way before they recalled it. But I did the research. You know what I'm saying? I see these big names on my pills. I'm like, let me Google that. and Google show you right there and tell you the side effects. I'm like, how are they giving this to the public? But people don't research. They figure as though you go to the doctor, he got a white coat,
and he knows what's best.
He looks safe. Take the pill. Nah, go read that shit, son. So
I know his second job is working with the pharmaceutical company to push it on people.
Right. So every institution is lied to us, man. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, for 8 minutes and 46 seconds, for that to resonate with him, you know, on the time he was born, and he also had the other resignation time when Kobe passed, right before he was supposed to go to the Grammys. See, Dave is spiritual, you know what I'm saying? And he sees it not just on the surface. Dave know what time it is. That's why his ass went to Africa. And that's why Dave has a fucking farm in Ohio. Dave ain't stupid, my nigga.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was timely. I think he laid the blueprint for what a social distancing concert could look like. Yeah, right. It was sobering, and I've always appreciated Dave Chappelle's brand of humor. I think for some people, they don't necessarily get it or understand his brand of humor. Right. You know, there are some people who they want they want gut busting anecdotes, and you know they want to see people over the top and everything. And I think that he's just very much somebody who stays in the pocket, delivers his material, and as serious as he was, it was almost like one of those things like, damn, if you don't laugh, you're gonna cry.
Because he tells the truth. And that's what you want. And that's what comedy has always done, with a little joke in there. There's an inflection in there where it makes you laugh, but when you really think about what they said, or what any of them say, it's like, wow, son. And we're actually laughing about that.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I'm
painful.
saying? But it hits home. And you question yourself, what was that police officer saying to any visual person that can see with my hand in my pocket? Was that a message to Kaepernick? Kneeling, got my hand in my pocket, I'm chilling. Chilling, my nigga. Like, I'm sweating right now, and I ain't even kneeling. Like, the fuck? I ain't doing that.
What
That's
you know
crazy,
what stood out to me was the part where he was talking about, you know, why do we need to hear from Ja Rule? Why do we care what Ja Rule thinks? And it makes me think about like celebrity voices in tragedy, and just celebrity voices in general. Like, I just think, like, to go back to what you were saying in terms of research, I feel like sometimes people get so roped into celebrity and fandom that they just blindly follow everything that these people say without actually doing any research and seeing the legitimacy of the message that these people are pushing. Like, I saw a video last night that had Denzel Washington, Morgan Freeman, and Lil Wayne in it. And all three of them were talking about race relations in the United States. And all three of them were saying that they don't see race as being an issue. Now, all three of them have a very different vantage point than the average person of color in the US. But in my mind, I'm like, these are three very influential people that if they're on their social media saying this or putting this out there, somebody is going to pick up on that, and they're going to be like, well, you know, Lil Wayne or Denzel Washington or Morgan Freeman said there is no issue.
There's no issue. But that's when you have to have the. Okay, finish. I'm sorry, bro.
The other thing is that I think what happens is that people get become so in tune with relying on celebrities to tell them what it is that
lazy journalism.
They really lose sight of what the actual message is. Like, look, to me, Denzel Washington is a great actor. Morgan Freeman, Lil Wayne is a good rapper. But at the end of the day, these people are entertainers. These are not the people that you should go to or look to for, you know, information. You shouldn't think of them as being able to give you political highbrow information and stuff like that. Like, there are people that are boots on the ground people that are far more sophisticated when it comes to actually having these discussions than the celebrities. But again, getting roped into celebrity and fame and everything, that these people have become like de facto spokespeople for all this stuff. Like, yo, to me, one of the biggest platforms of when I begin to see the shift in individual thought versus groupthink was when Puffy put out Vote or Die. Like, he had the Vote or Die campaign, which was good because it was bringing awareness to people to vote. right? So bringing awareness to people to vote, voting across the board, I think is a good thing. But if you start endorsing people because, you know what, Puffy said I need to vote for this person. So because Puffy said I need to vote for this person, guess what? I'm not going to research the candidate or anything. P. Diddy had them hit records.
I'm just going to go balls to the wall. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's what happens so much. And people have become, and it goes even beyond celebrities. You think about like social media influencers. You know, somebody could get online and have a following of 20,000 followers. An endorsement around clothing and sneakers to me is different than an endorsement around transgressions against human beings and causes. Right. You know, like, how you call it? Allen Iverson is my favorite basketball player of all time. He could say to me, "Yo, Shannon, you need to get these answers, these Reeboks or whatever it is," and I'm like, "Oh, Allen Iverson is balling in the Reeboks. Maybe I want those." But if Allen Iverson get online and fucking tell me who I should vote for, I'm gonna look and be like, "Nah, chill, bro. That ain't your lane. I'm not interested in that."
But look into this. I'm like, what are you talking about? Followers go. What do you know about politics?
I'm not even looking into it. Yeah, Allen Iverson, you cross people over. That's it. I don't need you for the other stuff.
Famous quote from KRS-One. You don't know the history of the author. You don't know what you're reading. I don't care which book you pick up.
That's a great quote.
If you don't know the perspective of who's writing the book, why are you reading the book? Even if the book is full of information. Mm-hmm. Where's this guy coming from? And that's you shouldn't step out of yourself to retain any information other than if you're just basing it off of your own research and your own knowledge. Mm-hmm. Your knowledge is the most important knowledge. That's why it's called self-knowledge, knowledge of self. People are so entertained by what entertainers are doing, saying, living, whatever, that now that we have social media, they feel inclined that they're closer. Mm-hmm. I understand Denzel. I know Denzel's a good guy. He's never gotten any trouble. He's one of the only guys who's never gotten to any marital issues with his wife. You don't find him in the tabloids, none of that. So it's for Morgan Freeman. And you take their career and you base that off a lifestyle, but these guys look totally different than what they put on the screen. You know what I'm saying? The reason why he's voting for certain people benefit him, not benefit me. They live in environments where they don't see probably race as an issue. The environment they live in, the white people love to see them. Oh yeah, that's Morgan Freeman's my neighbor. Who wouldn't love to say that shit?
Yeah,
it's you know what I mean. So they don't see it. They know it's there because these are elders, and I'm sure Lil Wayne knows it's there because of where he's from. You know, the environments he's lived in.
I'm not certain Lil Wayne knows it's there. Lil Wayne has made a number of ignorant comments as it relates to race.
Because he said a white man helped him out and all that, but he had to have seen it. Yeah, you can't not see it.
Yo, this Lil Wayne we talking about.
Right?
Yeah, I'm not convinced that for me, Lil Wayne may genuinely believe that racism doesn't exist. Not there. Yeah, but
that denial system worked for some people. Man.
The other part of it though is that I think that there are a lot of celebrities that probably have the same feeling that Dave Chapelle had, that the same sentiment, like, yo, who am I or whatever? Why the hell do you want to hear from me or whatever? Like, let the people do the work. This is the people's time. But there's pressure.
It's coming from the street.
Yeah, like, oh, yo, you got to say something about this.
The streets is mad, and it's the streets. It's the streets that's giving us so much. The street culture is giving us all of our fashion, our slang, how we move, how we talk. Yo, you cannot. You're messing with humanity. When you're walking out your house, that's the time you feel is free to do anything. We've given that opportunity now in these days and times to walk out our house and do anything that we want as long as we're obeying the law. Yeah. That's it. And when you start infringing on that and trying to bully your way in that, and people can't walk freely, stop and frisk, all these different things, you're trying to have this crazy society where you just being a bully, it's not going to work. You're going to lose. And that's what he's saying. The streets is like, it's a wrath. And it's going to continue to happen. It will be anarchy.
There to me is there's just more qualified people. And I'm not saying it's the attempt to insult celebrities' intelligence, But again, you know, because I do think there are a lot of celebrities that have high levels of awareness and high levels of intellect.
But there are much more qualified people to give you some instructions on how to handle situations like this.
Or to give you information. Like power is, you know, power and a following is dangerous. You know, it could be dangerous if it's used incorrectly. And I think that what happens is that there are a lot of people that are impressionable that are on the other end of those computers, mobile devices, whatever it is, looking, and they like, oh, such and such said this is what it is then. And they're not going to take the time to actually do the research and go behind the scenes.
No, you know, like we're a nation of followers, man.
Yeah. There are many celebrities that support causes that are counterintuitive to causes that are actually beneficial to people of color, and people will still support those celebrities unknowing because the celebrity is telling them, like, you know what, don't watch this hand over here, watch this hand. So, you know, in a time of crisis or just in general, like, I don't hold my breath.
Yeah, did it work when KRS-One had beef with Nelly and he said don't buy Nelly's album on June 25th?
I don't hold my breath waiting for statements from celebrities. I don't hold them to that level. It's funny, people will feel more compelled to be like, well, you know what? How come Jay-Z hasn't released a statement on this? But those same people won't have outrage that the National Black Caucus hasn't released a statement on it. Or where's the NAACP's caucus on it? Or where's the President of the United States? What's their statement on it? You know, but instead you like, damn, yo, when is the NBA young boy gonna comment on this?
Do they even know those organizations exist?
Yeah.
Some people don't even know that them shits even exist.
Somebody sitting around right now like, yo, how come the baby hasn't weighed in on everything that's going on?
Why make the Stallion ain't say nothing yet, son?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
that's celebrity for you, son.
To switch gears to the next topic, you know, the same thing, and then to me it kind of goes, you know, hand in hand with celebrity voices and tragedy is the performance activism. So, to me, there's just too much people doing too much right now on social media as it relates to stuff.
There's a term called slacktivism.
That's what it is. Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
You're just out there gassing somebody to make somebody look great, and they ain't really doing shit. But and that's the sad part, because like you said, we got a nation of followers that'll follow that coonery garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Not do no back checking, no reflecting on what's what, and now they done made a conscious decision based on someone else's errors and fucked up ways.
How many posts have you seen fly? And I'm not even on social media like that. I'll get on Instagram, but I'm not on Facebook, not on Snapchat. But how many times have you seen something circulated around and then people be like, no, actually that's misinformation? By the time they find out it's misinformation, 100 people, hundreds of thousands of people had it posted on their page.
It's in China now. Everyone in China has seen it 1,000 times, man. And that's why when certain things I see, I know my sources, and I go right back. I say, let me see with this. And I'm like, oh, they done pulled this out of the Examiner press or some shit that's just making up some story. Or it's not even being fully investigated. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times when certain things hit the news, you gotta give it about certain. Say one thing I learned when watching the news: the first 30 seconds of any breaking news, that's the truth you're gonna get. After that, they're gonna rerun and repeat and start filling in places where they can grain a story or create a story. So that's why I don't watch the news. When it comes to editorial, though, you could get a little deeper and deeper, but people don't like picking up and reading nothing word for word. And that's why I said earlier, the real war that we're in is the war with words. Words is what's hurting us. People aren't reading enough, ain't picking up certain understanding of how things is happening because they're not reading stuff. They're not looking for those things. They're waiting for someone like Denzel and Morgan Freeman to tell them. Mm-hmm. That's a lazy way. There's some things I say to some kids I even know. Yo, son, go read a book. Trust me, it's gonna lead you somewhere else. But then it's gonna open up your imagination because you gotta put those words in your mind and create a picture.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way it's gonna work. You can't wait for someone to give you a picture. You got to create your own.
You
and
know
that's
what?
And that's what happens. No one creates their own. Like they don't form it.
Well, that's because a lot of activism now is just about being viral. You know, you'll have 100,000 people sign a petition online, but the petition online is toothless. It's a toothless tiger, because when it comes to actually show up to whatever the city council meeting is or whatever, you get 20 people that actually show up. Right. And I don't know if that's a generational thing. I think that's just more of a thing of I see a lot of clout chasing. Like, there was a brother that had posted something the other day where he was like, yo, I've never seen so many woke niggas in my life, you know, because now I'm serious. Like, yo, now everybody is woke. Like, yo, but prior to this, you know, you was gang banging.
What
you
is
was
woke?
doing all this other crazy stuff. Now all of a sudden everybody is woke. Everybody is a social activist. Everybody is doing all these things or whatever. And at the end of the day, you know what? Like, I respect and understand that there's different levels of activism. Like, there are gonna be the people who want to just drop off their money, keep it moving. There are going to be people that's going to be on the marches, on the lines, doing what they need to do. And there are some people that are just going to stand back and be like, you know what, it's not for me. But what I struggle with is that people who get on these lines and, you know, they on the line and they feel like this is a good photo op, and then let me get off the line, or they don't even know what the damn cause is. Or these people who, you know, they have all these issues as it relates to race, you know, just like we were just talking about Starbucks. Oh, Starbucks, they said this or whatever about Black Lives Matter, but then the next thing you know, they over at Starbucks or whatever, you know. So to me, it's like all of it is just a stunt for social media. And I think people view social media as an opportunity to go viral and to get fame, and they look at it as like, this is me spreading the word. But at the same time, like, yo, you gotta kind of walk it like you talk it. Like, the actions, what's the saying? Actions speak louder than words. So
spit it how you live it, my nigga. You gotta. That's right. Your word is your bond, man. You gotta live it out. You have to live it out, or you can lose your life.
Right.
Your word that can really fuck you up, man.
Here's the biggest example to me of performance activism, right? So now you see all these Fortune 500 companies slapping on Black Lives Matter on everything. Black Lives Matter. You see it on all their social media sites, the commercials, all this stuff. Yo, everybody is acting like racism just started when Mr. Floyd was killed, right? All these organizations knew racism
what was
existed.
Going on? Right.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden it's a moment and it's a movie, and everybody's like, yo, you know what? I don't want to be on the wrong side of history, so let me get in on it. It's so sad.
Let me get my 15 minutes of fame, son.
Yeah. Yo, it's so sad, though. You think about the level that it's at, that even Donald Trump backpedaled now his position on Colin Kaepernick. Remember, he was like, oh, these bastards kneel, they need to be fired or whatever.
But he's a jackass. Like, he's saying he created, he's the reason why Juneteenth is popular.
You know what?
Stick in his face, man.
What
are you talking about?
That to me is another example of performance activism. You know why? Because his followers would get online, retweet that, and keep having that message reverberate, throughout the ethos or whatever.
See, I don't even like the term woke, because woke means it's past tense.
Mm-hmm.
Are you awake, nigga? That's it. They ain't woke. It means if you woke, it means you went back to sleep. You know, I get the term woke. All right, you found out something that you didn't know. That's probably been going on your entire life.
Shame on
being
you.
Awake, but being awake is staying, because now if I found out this, I know there's more shit that I need to stay awake. I ain't woke. I'm awake. I can't go back to sleep no more, son. That's fucked up. I'm an insomnia over here. But it's 15 minutes of fame, pardon me. People want their minute, their shine time, because people are watching. Everyone is watching. You know what I'm saying? If you got a camera, you got a video, you can post it. Views, you know, all these different things happen. You know, we talked about, you know, the power of image, man. That's what sells. People eat with their eyes. They do everything with their eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know
my message to the young people, though, is that, you know, don't follow these false prophets. You know, like just you know, do the research, man.
Do the knowledge to yourself.
The devil's in the details, man. Like, like spend 5 minutes if your favorite celebrity, your favorite blogger, whoever it is, if you're listening to this show or watching this show and you feel like it's something that me or Rob said that resonates with you, you know, don't just go on faith like, oh shit, Shannon and Rob sound like they know what they're talking about. Like, yo, feel free to fact check it and research it.
Right, ask a question. Yo, Rob, what you meant by that? And I can build with you. I love talking about stuff. People say, yo, tell me a little more about that. By all means, I got a library of shit. I can let you know.
Yeah, but don't blindly follow people's causes, especially if the cause doesn't speak to you and it's not specific to you. So again, like in terms of performance activism, like we don't need you. Well, let me not say we. I don't need you as a quote unquote activist, just being a person who just continues to post information. Some of the information misleading or misinformation, you know, you're far more helpful to me without your fame, but your boots on the ground actually making a difference.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
So,
and learn how to follow yourself, man.
That's a fact, for real. And and you see now they doing away with Aunt Jemima. They just figured out that was racist also.
After 150 fucking years, right? And mind you, owned by a company named Quaker Oats. Fucking Pilgrim on the fuck. What is going on? But this is this country, man. They make money off of our pain. They've been doing it since inception. You know what I'm saying? And what I hear now is that the family of Aunt Jemima has sued them in 2014 for $3 billion for royalties that they've never gotten for using that image. And that image came from, during the Civil Rights era, minstrel shows, and a white man portraying a blackface mammy. Ain't that some shit?
Mammy.
A white man portraying a blackface mammy, and it was a song called "Oh Aunt Jemima."
You want to talk about imagery?
That's
and
some crazy
symbolism.
Shit.
Imagery
right
and
there.
Symbolism. Look now, like the ongoing debate is about all these statues being taken down. I don't think white people understand the pain that's actually associated with these statues. Like every day, you know, as a person of color, we got to go out and we got to look at these statues that's symbolic of slavery.
Right.
You know, like of you enslaving people. And it was interesting because I was watching the news the other day, and I happened to see Governor Cuomo, who's the governor of New York. He came on, and I think they were asking him his opinion about like removing all the statues and all. And he was like, yeah, you know, the statues need to come down and all this stuff. And then they was like, what do you think about the Columbus statue at Columbus Circle? He's an Italian American. And he was like, well, I think that represents something different. You know, it's become a beacon and it has a huge representation for Italians' contribution to America. But if you think about Christopher Columbus's actions, how crazy is that for him to say all those other statues, the Confederate statues could go, but Christopher Columbus, whose history, if people really delve deep and looked at everything in general, you know, and I'm not trying to come for Italians or Italian Americans, but yo, Christopher Columbus, and you feel like this is a statue that's a representation of what our society is? Man.
Truth is truth. And we're not to put anything under the rug with truth or you're going to trip over it. Christopher Columbus being an Italian, Italians coming to this country just like everyone else, but he was a criminal. He was a criminal when he was over there, and he was a criminal coming over there. They allowed him to come over here to search and seizure. He ran with Moors. That's how he was able to even know how to get the fuck over here. And people were here. And let's keeping it real, Christianity came out of Italy.
And Native Americans got to look at
You don't even want to go into Christianity and Italy and Italy's representation on this planet and the things that they've done. We're still in the reason why we're going through this shit. We were still in Roman European conquest. We're still owned by the Pope in this bitch. All of us.
Now his was crazy, right? So think about the representation or the significance of how this makes people of color feel, right? But I've never look,
they're not gonna take it down.
I've never seen a statue of Adolf Hitler. Never. Why is that?
You won't, because the Jews will have a fucking conniption. If you put up any swastika, and the thing is, the swastika is the symbol of a swastika is the symbol of the sun, not Nazis. But Nazis hijacked it, and now when you see the swastika and the Jews see it, and that's the power of symbols. Mm-hmm. Power of symbols is when you see them, it reflects a meaning, a substance, or some sort of whole, gamut of reasons why people are representing that. So when you're using symbols and you're taking down symbols, that's why these statues is coming down, because they mean something. Yeah. They hold weight, and people can't be walking by and seeing them. You know what I'm saying?
There should be, rightfully so, there are no Adolf Hitler statues that I know of, and there shouldn't be. But just as there shouldn't be any Adolf Hitler statues, we shouldn't be subjected to seeing statues of people who
same atrocity, right? Same atrocity. That's right.
Yeah,
I agree with you 1,000%.
And regardless of what an Italian American believes Christopher Columbus represented in history, as told by them, because the history that we get in the textbooks is history that they've put on the forefront for us to consume, even from their stories. Their stories, they're telling us that he came here and that he basically took the U.S. from Native Americans. Yeah.
Yoked it up, hostage.
Yeah, from Native Americans.
Came over here and lied and did all sorts of trickery. Like I said, they play wordplay and certain things on people and fuck people up, man. Mm-hmm. So we don't need none of them statues up there. All of them, the General Lee, all of them shits.
Yeah.
Start erecting some other statues, some statues of Frances Cress Welsing. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She need to be in front of some all girls, whatever, all women, whatever. She need to be up. There's tons of people who need to be erected who've done tons of work for our community. Mm-hmm. Yeah, why come out see a Malcolm statue? Yeah, you mad because everyone's gonna understand the ideology of Malcolm and bear arms? You know what I'm saying? Stokely Carmichael, you fucking right.
Yep.
That's the shit we need to erect. Them statues.
Have you had a chance to go down to DC yet and see the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial?
When I was living in DC, I did run by there. It's a beautiful piece of work.
Look how long it took us to get that.
Right. So we overdue. We overdue, son. There's towns and areas where it should be erected stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's where we are, brother. That's where we are.
Yeah. So
what we got going on? That's it.
This was our little treat, our little Juneteenth bonus episode to kind of warm you guys up for the next episode that's going to be coming out, which is going to release tomorrow, and it's our interview with fashion designer Willie Esco. Again,
man, I like the interview.
Yeah, we could be found on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and YouTube. Stitcher. Look, when you go on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. Any feedback that you have with the video.
Yeah, throw a comment in there. I want to hear what people think about us, man.
Yeah, and turn the notifications on also so you could keep getting alerts as to when we put out new videos.
We got some hot ones coming.
Anything you want to say in closing?
Man, listen, man. I know the times is crazy. They're about to open the world back up. I say, handle it with kid gloves. Keep your mask with you. You know what I mean? Dave Chapelle showed us how in entertainment value, how we can still, enjoy it, but keep our distance. I think it's a good practice. The warmer months are coming, so we're gonna get a little more comfortable, more relaxed. Just stay sharp, man. Stay sharp, man. And I love my people, B. Yeah. I'm here, baby. That's it, man. So I got a happy Father's Day to all them strong fathers, especially you, King.
Appreciate
you know what I'm saying? You raising great citizens over there. You know what I'm saying? We raising people, son. We raising some solid people, man, that's gonna do something in the world and reflect our energy, man. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, B. Salute to all y'all, man. Word is bond.
Yes. Peace, everybody.